Hello everyone and welcome to, this is going to be the week 1 introduction to what you're doing in lab this week. I will be posting another video over the outline this week, but I'm going to do this to get you started. First off, I'm going to click on our course shell, and if you haven't seen the announcement, if you have not watched the video, there are no lab kits required this semester. The company eSciences that I've used in the past, they are struggling because of the pandemic. They can't get some of the things they need, and the lab kits are taking up to 10 weeks for a student to receive them. And so our semester is 14 weeks. That's not going to work. So you do not have to purchase a lab kit. All the lab stuff will be done online. So I'm going to click on the 1 tab. Now you can't see this yet, but if you're watching this video, you've already gotten here. So here is the week 1 lab right here. Introduction to Anatomy and Physiology. This is where you start. This is your base. You have to build on the terminology, and then you can kind of go from there. Now this format will be the same. Here is, it says overview and study materials. So here are our learning outcomes. What are you doing this week? All right, well, there's a PowerPoint and there's an outline for this section. There is what I'm calling an assignment 1, which is an introduction to anatomy and physiology. It's terminology. And once you do that, you're going to turn it in on the assignment link that is provided. And then there's also an interactive lesson that's called lesson number 1. That's what you're going to be working on this week. Always check the My Grades tab for due dates. I give you a couple of weeks to complete these things. Here is our PowerPoint we're going to be using, and here's the outline. And I'll be making a video based on that later in the week, and I'll send you an announcement. So I'm going to go back. Now I'm in my view at the moment. In fact, let's just go. I'm going to go ahead and open this temporarily. Let me go back here. So when you guys click on, you saw this. This is the 1 tab. I'm going to go down to the lab. Go down to assignments for this unit. Now here is the soft chalk lesson. Now, very important, and this is in the lecture as well. I had already opened this. You must click the finish button with these assignments, these lessons. These are for a grade. They're a percentage of your lab grade. The breakdown is actually under the schedule tab. But what you're going to do is go through here and you're going to answer all of these questions. And this one's going to start, and I need to take that out before I cause somebody to have a seizure. All right, so here's the video, and then here are the questions. So you're going to go through and answer these like that. Click on this. I just randomly click these. Anyway, basically these collapse on you. I got one of the questions correct, so you can retry them. You can go back, and it's just a way of helping you practice to learn this. Let me see. I just randomly clicked on those. I got the same percentage right. But go through, and you can do these as many times as you want. You can do them an unlimited amount of times. There's no time limit. Once you start them, you can finish them later or come back later. But when you're done, the very last page, you must click this finish button. If you do not click that finish button, it's not going to submit your assignment to the grade book, and you will not get credit. And anytime you complete a lesson, always go into the My Grades tab and make sure your grade is there. If it's not there, it will show up as a blank. Okay, it won't give you a grade at all. So that's one thing you're going to be doing. You just go through, answer all the questions. You can do them an unlimited amount of times. That one, and I'm sorry to be bouncing back and forth. That one, I believe it said, was it here? Let's see. Okay, this one has 40 questions. And then on the side, some other things. There's some outlines, some exam reviews. There's a coloring. If you want to torture your children along with you, you can print these out and have your kids help you color the planes of measurement. There's also Inner Body is an interactive website. It looks like they've upgraded their things here. Interesting. I'll have to look at that. Anatomy Arcade is where you can play games. There's one called Whack-A-Bone that's freaking awesome. And then if you have trouble pronunciating things, this is from the Merck Manual Drug Company. And I haven't looked at this since the pandemic broke out. I believe it's still working. It should be. It's taken too long. And then here are some of the links that you may need. So Okay, there we go. It's showing me the ones that I got wrong that time. So you can retry these each time. Okay, so that's the first thing you're going to do. Here is assignment 1. Now, a little introduction about the background of anatomy. Here is the document you're going to be using. So what you're going to do says assignments in lab are worth 25% of your total average in this course, which is pretty big. You're going to click on this. It's a Word document. You're going to open it up. And this is just to get you started this week. All right, I'm going to make this bigger. So research activities, nothing, don't worry, it's not anything to worry about. It means you're going to be looking up the answers to these questions. So here's the summary of topics that are covered. Answer the following questions in terms with as much detail as possible. So starting here, like anatomy is, blah, 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 blah. You're going to write your answer. You can use the OpenStax textbook. Under the textbook tab, there's a link that takes you to their website. It's free. You can use your outline notes. You can use your lecture outline notes. You can use the lesson you're going to be completing in lecture or the one in lab. But answer all of these questions. Use as much detail as possible. Obviously, anatomy is a definition. You don't have to write a thesis, but be detailed in your answers. Here's ones over levels of organization, characteristics of life, and you can see that there. And then here are the 5 requirements of life, things like oxygen, pressure, that kind of thing. But go through and answer all of these. And once you've answered all the questions, and you're going to fill out a little grid here on body regions. This is one on quadrants. We cover that in lab. Here's another one on overall body regions. You're going to have to basically go through and name what part of the body this is talking about, like the point on the shoulder. And I didn't put any, maybe I'll do that before I turn this loose to you, but point on the shoulder, which is the acromion, the antebrachial is the forearm, but you'll go through, and this is actually in your outline section. It's also in your outline for your lecture, but you'll go through and answer all those as well. These are overall body regions. Okay, so once you've gone through, you answer all these questions, and of course you're going to save this to your computer starting off. But go through, answer all the questions. Now, when you're done, when you answered all the questions, you're going to come back down here, click here to submit assignment 1. That's when it's due, September 13th. It's 100 points. I would prefer you upload a Word document. You can put write submission means you can just copy and paste it as a text message. I really would prefer, if that's fine. If you can't do it any other way, that's fine. But you can attach it there, and then you're just going to hit submit in this bottom right corner down here. And that's how you turn it in. Okay? Please always read your announcements, and I'll send you another video this week on the other things we're going to be doing. Thank you.